Hi, welcome to the F1 Time Portal, a Formula One history podcast started by two entrancing Formula One fans. I'm your host, Rosa.
And I'm your dancing queen host, Luigi. And today we're taking you back to the 1977 season, part 1. So let's go.
We're into ABBA. We're into ABBA era.
Yeah. You know, it's an okay song. I know a lot of people love that song. To me, it's an okay song. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a girl. I think a lot of girls like it, don't they? At the risk of being very sexist here.
Yeah.
Maybe just from my perspective, it's a good song because I'm a girl.
And to those girls, it may be an entrancing song.
Yeah, well, I tried to choose a word that matches the season. I don't know that this season is as entrancing as previous ones or future ones, but I guess the start is quite entrancing.
Yeah, it is an interesting season in that regard, but it's tough to follow 76 though.
Yeah, like nothing could beat 76, exactly.
Yeah, they don't make movies about 77.
No, that's right. I reckon we'll have a movie about 21 though, Luigi. Don't you reckon? 2021? Oh, if we haven't yet, maybe we won't.
You're opening a can of worms. I'm not sure if I want to watch that movie.
You still got like PTSD from that.
Yeah, it's still got PTSD on that one. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's funny how talking just without going into the details of 2021, I was going to mention in some Facebook groups, they have like, if you want to join, you have to answer these basic questions. And their questions are like, name a 1970s F1 driver or something like that, just to make sure you're not a robot or have no idea about Formula One.
Yeah.
And I think one of them was it was a pro Hamilton group. And it was like, and they asked the question, who won the 2021 Abu Dhabi race? And I was like, oh yeah, here we go. And that answer was going to answer a lot. Yeah.
Yes.
So, but we're not in 2021. We're in 1977.
Yeah, 77.
Yeah, so
what's
we should
happening?
get in. Yeah, so given there were only like 2 months from the end of that great 76 season, there were quite a lot of changes for 77. So starting with some driver changes is that Peterson left March to join Tyrrell, which I think we mentioned during the season of 76. And he was taking the place of Jody Scheckter.
Jody Scheckter left Tyrrell after 3 years to join new Walter Wolf team alongside Jackie Ickx. Like, is Wolf a better name than Lola and Shadow? These names, they're really getting me. I do like the Wolf name.
He's lucky that it's owned by Toto Wolff, and I think we talk about him a little later. I'm not sure, but not Toto Wolff.
I was going to say, it isn't.
Yeah.
I was like, really? I didn't know that. Yeah. No, it's not Toto Wolff.
It's Walter Wolff. And he's like a multi-millionaire, billionaire, something like that. He's like the equivalent of the mid-2020s Lawrence Stroll, who owns the Aston Martin team. So he's like a very rich benefactor. So,
well, he's got a cool name to name a team after.
He has got a cool name. He's lucky that he got that name. Whereas, so that was interesting. So moving on to Ferrari, things were starting to get strained, and along many of those had doubts about Niki Lauda's future in Formula One, in particular Enzo Ferrari. So
that's not good for it's not good for the team owner to have a concern about his number one driver.
Yeah. I mean, he had on his hands the guy who delivered him the 75 world title, the first for Ferrari in 11 years, and the man who nearly won 76, but there was a bit of a view that he let the title slip from his grasp. So that Japan pullout had some psychological ramifications.
I can imagine that Enzo wouldn't have understood that, would he? He would never have understood a driver pulling out of potentially winning a championship. I don't think the thought would ever cross Enzo's mind that would be a thing to do. So he eventually, though, decided to give Lauda the benefit of the doubt and confirmed him as the lead driver for 77. But it was pretty shaky.
Yeah, like touch and go. Like it wasn't like a resounding, we are so proud, the banners are coming out, the streamers and the coming down from the ceiling. It's the opposite of that. Almost a reluctant.
Yes.
So this is not great news for our friend Regazzoni, because with Enzo standing by Lauda, Regazzoni wasn't so lucky. So he was dropped in favour of Reutemann. As you know, they had their 3-driver sort of mix-up at the end of the year.
Yes, yes.
And the reason why was because Renzo felt that Regazzoni was spending too much time on his outside business interests.
See, Enzo doesn't like that, does he? Because he had the same problem with, was it Bera that was also spending time on
his F2
other
team?
racing? Yeah, on his F2 team. He doesn't like it at all. So interesting that he dropped. I mean, Regazzoni was flavour of the month in 76 with Audetto, wasn't he? Flavour of the year. I think Audetto was like, this guy's the next best thing or something. I don't know.
I wouldn't say I don't think he was like Regazzoni's the next best thing. He just thought, oh, Rega hasn't had a win for a while.
Yeah.
Come on, throw him the bone. But he was asking early in the season. That's silly.
No.
You know, he's got to earn the bone, you know.
So where did he go, Louis?
He went to Ensign. So I'd say
that's a bit of a, that's not a good move.
We see this all the time. You've had your run in the top team. Now it's time to, you know, you start your career in the low middle teams. Like he started in BRM, I think.
Yes.
You get to the top team. It's like a bell curve. Then you go back down again.
Yeah. But he didn't have a great time in the top team though. 76 was not a good year for him. Nicky outclassed him even with the injuries that he had. So yeah, he was never going to last having Nicky outclass him so much. But I also did read that Lauda didn't really like Reutemann's signing because he and the Argentinian, him and Reutemann, never really got on as well as Lauda did with Regazzoni. So that's another thing that I guess is adding to Lauda's unhappiness this year, I think.
Yeah, the balance of happiness is being shaken. And not many people got on well with Reutemann. Like there's later seasons where Reutemann and his teammates have issues.
Yes.
So,
you know what I've noticed, Luigi? All through our history of doing this podcast, whenever we talk about Ferrari, the relationships in Ferrari between the drivers and the administration is always goes a bit sour. Like a lot of drivers just end up being really disillusioned or, you know, angry, or like I haven't read one where it's a good relationship all the way and they end up on happy terms so far.
Yeah, there's a few rare. Yeah, I agree. There's a few rare exceptions. Like, but I agree with you fundamentally.
Up until now, it's like everyone leaves or everyone gets
angrily
dropped.
It's like, you know how you have a contract, right? And it's like, oh, you start on this day, and there's a termination clause, and there's triggers that enable the contract to be ended amicably with certain conditions being met on both sides. Ferrari really have to work on those exit triggers because it's always ending with anger, emotion.
That's right.
Yeah, so they're the team that really have to look at the wording of that part of their contracts because they're always having issues.
And if I fast forward to some of the future drivers, I can think of many examples in the future where that also happens, where drivers leave angrily from Ferrari and not so much in the other teams. So, yeah, Ferrari's got a bit of
is it the passion and the emotion?
Yeah, that supersedes the driver. Like, you know, they're more about the team and the name rather than the driver. Anyway, it's just a thought.
But it was interesting that Enzo was upset with Regazzoni having outside interests. And I was thinking of sort of overlaying to F1 drivers of today, and today being 2025 when we're recording this. And there are many drivers that have many outside interests nowadays.
Yes.
When I think of the driver who has the most outsider interests, I personally think of Lewis Hamilton because
that's true.
He's got everything going. He's got fashion brands. He's attending. He's doing music.
Yes.
And that's just what I remember off the top of my head. I know there's much more.
He produces movies.
True. Yeah. But I mean, what would Enzo have thought of Hamilton? Let's say Enzo was around now, and what would Enzo have thought of Hamilton? I mean, he's dropped Regazzoni for having interests outside of Ferrari, and I have no idea what those interests were.
No, I don't know either. I tried looking, but it doesn't really say that anywhere. So that mustn't have been that big. Look, if Enzo had Lewis in his team and Lewis delivered him 7 world championships, he might turn a blind eye to the outside interests.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. If the results are not there,
nah,
you can tell those outside interests where to go.
That's
or
right.
I'll tell you where to go.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think they would have got on. Like Enzo was too old school, I reckon, for Hamilton.
Yeah. Like I noticed when Hamilton did his first like photo shoots of first time at the Maranello and all that sort of stuff, he was not wearing his normal flamboyant, colourful stuff. He was wearing the
black suit,
like
with the coat
sort of thing.
Yeah, he looked like a mob boss. It was very unusual. Yeah.
I don't think they would have got on, to be honest. Full stop.
No, I don't either. Yeah, and to be fair, Hamilton's not had the best start to his Ferrari career.
True. We're talking 25 here. Could be 26. Things are different.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
So we also see we're back to 77. So we've agreed that, Hamilton and Ferrari would not have got along very well. We see Jules Villeneuve make his debut this year. Now, we're not talking we know he's famous for Ferrari, but he makes his debut as a substitute driver for a couple of teams. But we won't spoil too much about what teams they were. It'll come through in the race reviews. But yes, everyone knows Villeneuve as a Ferrari driver, but not this year.
Yes. Well, again, that relationship doesn't end well either. The Villeneuve-Ferrari, I don't think.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
It's a bit fraught, I think. But look,
only at the very end. Only at the very end.
Yeah.
Up to that point, Villeneuve is like Enzo's son.
Yeah, well, that's, I think, part of the problem, isn't it? But I'm looking forward to watching his career evolve because it's a big name and I've heard of him and I remember the races he was in. And so, interesting. I'll be very interested in seeing his career evolve. Another name to debut this year, Luigi, which made me feel very, very old, is Riccardo Patrese. He debuts for the Shadow team.
This is big, isn't it? And him and I think this is off the top of my head, but I think I'm right. Him and PK, I think, are the only drivers that go from the 70s and reach the 1990s.
Wow.
So we're going to hear a lot about Patrese.
Okay.
And PK. And PK's already driving. Is he PK? He's already driving. Yeah, he's already driving.
Is he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is.
He is. No,
okay. Well, I've given something away. PK's coming maybe next year then.
Yeah. No, so he's not in this.
Before PK. There you go. Okay. But I think they're the only two that make the 90s.
Right.
From the 70s.
I mean, that is huge. That is massive. That's a big career. And, Patrese is involved in some very big incidences later on in his career as well. So interesting. But yes, it did make me feel it made me feel my years, that's for sure.
Yeah, true. And Patrese also goes on to set records for most number of race wins, races participated in, which has been beaten many a time since then, but it's still in the top 10. I know that. But the interesting thing, it's one giveaway, but it doesn't give away too much about Patrese. But I saw on some social media posts, he's got an interesting record, which I didn't know he had this record, but it makes sense. He has the most retirements in F1 history. And that comes with a lot of races. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's interesting.
Yeah. So finally, for driver changes as well, Penske withdrew from Formula One to instead focus on their US racing interests. So this left Watson without a drive, but he was quickly snapped up by Bernie Ecclestone to join his Brabham team alongside Pache.
Oh, okay. That's a good signing, I think, by Brabham, who's really not done much.
Safe pair of hands with Watson.
Yeah.
But Pache, I think, is their like star driver. He's been very fast.
I think now we know who's the number one driver in that team. We always had trouble when it was Reutemann and Pache, but now I think it's definitely Pache with Watson, isn't it?
I think so, but let's see.
Yeah. So in terms of cars, March also developed a 6-wheeled car, but this time the 4 wheels were at the back of the car.
Yeah.
What is going on here? It kind of proved to be too heavy, weirdly, and it never actually entered a race. So,
Well, good on them for trying.
why didn't they just go the front, Louis? I mean, they could see that the Tyrrell worked at the front, and if they really wanted to, join that kind of development, they should have just gone the front, but they went the back, and I think it sent the team backwards as well.
Yeah, probably wasting resources chasing.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to copy another team, like that's what most teams do. They copy another team and then they do extra.
Yes.
But the ego said, no, we have to do it differently.
Do something different. Yep.
Okay. So there were a range of driver changes in the midfield too, which included Aussie Larry Perkins moving to BRM. Yes, and somehow BRM is still going. And and a driver who's got a cool name called Zorzi, Zorzi, replacing Jarier in the shadow. And there's a few other driver changes, but there's sort of more at the back end, so we don't focus on them too much.
Yeah. Yeah, McLaren didn't have any changes. They kept their driver lineup of Hunt and Muss. And they started 77 with their 76 M23 model. They'd eventually transitioned to their M26 later in the year. So, yeah, they were... I mean, they won they didn't win constructors, did they? They won the Drivers' Championship, obviously.
Yeah, with that M23. So, yeah, reigning champions Ferrari also started 77 with their 76 car, but they instead focused on modifying and improving their car like throughout the season. And why not? They did have the car of 76. And to be honest, they probably had the best car from 1974 onwards. So, so why change? Just evolve the winning formula, I guess.
Tyrrell, Shadow and Surtees, like Ferrari, chose to keep developing their existing car versus producing a new one. Tyrrell were having a tough time developing their six-wheeler. So I think the six-wheeler, maybe we see it now going like the bell curve, Louis. I think it goes. I don't think it has the same. Yeah, it's had its time in the sun. And I don't think that, I mean, obviously we don't see any six-wheelers on the grid now. So obviously it doesn't really perform anymore.
Yeah. And it's probably banned, I'm imagining, but which is sad. But it's the thing that really hurt it apparently was a lack of tyre development, because they had to have a smaller front tyre than the standard front tyre. So, I don't remember who the tyre people are for 77 or 76. But they weren't getting any love.
77 is Goodyear.
Was it only Goodyear?
Michelin was there for Renault, and Dunlop was there for a Japanese team, but it was all Goodyear. Yep.
Yeah. So they weren't getting any love for their littler tyres. So they were being left behind. So while everyone else was probably getting different compounds and things like that, they were just having to work with what they had. So I think that's what killed it. I don't think the innovation failed. It was if March had come up with a six-wheeler like theirs, maybe we would have started developing the tyres. So it all came down to March picking the wrong extra tyres.
Well, I'm a bit sad about that. Then I think that's unfair on them to not. I think this is a start of Formula One becoming a bit standardised, isn't it? Because we're sort of removing teams being able to take their innovation into a certain direction. They have to sort of follow the pack.
If they're forced to use something like tyres.
Yeah, that's right. And it kind of removes, like in the 60s and 70s, we see lots of cars with lots of different things happening on their cars, which was exciting and good because you had mixed up results. It all I think what happens, it all becomes a bit standardised now. Everyone's got the same tyres.
Let's put it this way. If we were to get the current Formula One cars, i.e. we're talking 2025 again, and put them all in black colour, we'd probably struggle to tell the difference.
Yeah,
we'd pick one or two maybe. But you could do that with 76, all the 70s, and you'd know, there's a Brabham, there's a Ferrari, there's a Lotus straight away.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yes. So it's a shame for them. Yeah, okay. I do feel a little bit for them then.
Yeah, okay. Let's see if you remember that in the TP rankings, or are you just going to punish them? I think you're going to forget. So anyway, to Wolf and their all-new WR1. So this is a new team founded by Canadian millionaire Walter Wolf, not Toto Wolf.
Not
It just
Toto
coincidence, right? Easy to make that mistake. He had taken full control of the Williams team. So he sponsored the Williams team in 76. And so he basically was the new owner. And because of that, he attracted Scheckter to the team, as well as Peter Waugh from Lotus as the team manager, and a designer called Harvey Postlethwaite, who starts to build a bit of a name for himself going forward. So, yeah, that's the new Walter Wolf or WR1 Wolf team.
So, but this is the old Williams team, is it? Is this Frank Williams's team?
Yeah, he continues and creates a new team.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't know if I mentioned that further down. Yeah, but I think he's using another chassis. Like when Wolf bought the team out, he also bought the Williams designed chassis and this and that. Okay. So Williams started as a customer team again.
Yes, okay.
And I don't think we'll hear much from Williams this year, I think. I think they sort of restarted.
No, Williams isn't even on the grid. He's not even on the grid.
I think they're using another, or maybe they're taking a year out to rebuild their team. What I want to know
no, it is there. It's the Williams Grand Prix Engineering, and they're using a March Ford. And their drivers are just one driver, Patrick Neve.
They're starting again, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, interesting.
When you sell your team, don't you want to reduce competition? Normally, you'd have an exclusion clause, like you're not allowed to do 2 years because you don't want to be competing with me. Because he'd have all his networks and connections, and
yes,
a bit weird that he's continuing on.
Harvey Postlethwaite, and they lost their. I'm sure Harvey Postlethwaite was the Williams designer.
Yeah, so he stayed with the Wolf team.
He stayed with the old team. Interesting. Okay. Yes. But yeah, you're right. It does sound like the Lawrence Stroll rebuild of Aston Martin, doesn't it?
Yeah, the mid-2020s when he bought out.
Came in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he brought in the top tier drivers, Alonso, and it does sound a lot like that. Lotus introduced an all new car, the Lotus 78.
And I'll do my customary complaint. This is 1977 Lotus. Don't call it Lotus 78. It really is annoying.
It does get confusing because the 79 car is in 78 as well. So, it becomes confusing.
Yeah.
But, credit to Lotus, they're back on their innovative design because unlike previous Lotuses, which were designed to prevent air from passing underneath them, this is going to get a little bit technical, Louis. So this car, the 78, encouraged air to actually go underneath the car, sucking it to the ground, which was kind of like the beginning of the ground force era, I guess.
Ground effect.
Yeah, ground effect. And so this improved the cornering grip and the tyres warmed up quicker. So, so Lotus are back to their roots of innovative aero design, which good on them because they've been missing a little bit in that area.
Yeah, and the car was quite revolutionary because the car suffered on the straight, but due to the drag, but it proved to be a huge success on the corners, and we'll come to that later. But let's give a tip of the hat to, I think in 74, remember there was McLaren and some other teams that were putting skirts on their cars to stop air going under their cars.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I think 76 as well. McLaren was
still doing it. Yeah,
penalised for it as well. Exactly. So he's gone the opposite, and he's going, I want the air to come under my car and suck it to the ground.
And they're using. I think the inspiration of all this was planes and fighter planes and things like that. So he's really looking outside the box,
which is how he came up with his monocoque chassis as well. That was a plane innovation as well. So so Chapman's back to his old tricks. So we're going to talk about BRM, Louis. I don't know whether you're going to like this or not like it, but they only entered one race in 76. We didn't really focus on them, but I think they entered one race and it wasn't great and they decided to take the year off. So they returned in 77 with a new car. Unfortunately, they had very little success with this car and they failed to qualify for most of the races in 77. So by the Italian Grand Prix, which I don't know, that's later in the year, isn't it? It's like the race 14 of 17, the team gave up. And we have the permanent ending of the BRM team.
This is big because you may recall in the early episodes, those of you that listened since the beginning, I was trying to promote this podcast to the BRM Facebook group, and they were the toughest of all people. They wouldn't let my posts be on their group because it was not specifically about BRM.
No.
But seriously, though, taking that joke aside, it is sad.
They're a passionate group, Louis.
Yeah, they really are. And it was not that long ago that we saw glimmers of recovery of this team, because in the early 70s, they were starting to win races here and there, and they were getting podiums. So shall we do a quick recap of their history, Rosa?
Yeah, I think so. I think they entered in 1951. That's huge. That's like the second year of what we understand to be the Formula One World Championship, because we're saying it started in 1950 and they finished in 77. So that's 26 years in Formula One.
That's more than most teams get.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's a really long history. They had some great drivers like Dan Gurney, Mike Hawthorne, Graham Hill, Niki Lauda, Jackie Stewart, and Beltoise, to name a few. They got a lot of wins.
They did.
Like 17 wins out of 197 starts. That's not a bad ratio, you know?
Yeah, what's that? That's almost 20%. Just on my rough calculations. And yeah, they gave a lot of drivers a start, didn't they? Like Niki Lauda started there, I believe. And so did Jackie Stewart, you know? So yeah, it was a good team for drivers to go to, I think. They had 11 poles. That's pretty good. And 15 fastest laps as well. They only had one Constructors' Championship and one Drivers' Championship. Do you remember who did it, Louis, in 62?
Of course. Yes, none other than Damon Hill's dad.
Yes, Damon Hill's dad.
Yeah, Mr. Graham Hill, yes.
And then they had a couple of they had a lot of second places in the Constructors, 63, 64, 65. Did they have second place in the Drivers then as well? I reckon they might have.
No, not necessarily. Maybe, but not necessarily.
No, not necessarily. And 71, they came
that long ago. They came second in the Constructors, and they're gone in 77.
They've been struggling for a while, though.
Yeah.
They have been struggling for a while. We really haven't spoken about them for a long time. Yeah. So there you go. Goodbye, BRM.
Bye, BRM. We'll mention them in the race review, though.
Yes.
Yeah. When they appear, if they qualify. Okay.
So yeah, we've already spoken about Williams. We know that they're back on with just one driver, and they've got a March car, so that's them.
Yeah, at Brabham, they switched to the Alfa Romeo engine, and
that was last year, didn't they?
Oh, did they? Was it 76?
Yeah, okay. They did.
So they're staying with the Alfa Romeo engine, and they didn't win a single race in 76. So they really focused on developing engine torque, and would have a better 77 season. So look forward to that.
Yep. And then your favourite person and team to moan about what could have been, Emerson Fittipaldi and the Kopasuka team had a year to forget in 77. Not much better in 76. Not much better in 77, Louis.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to officially hand the baton of BRM to Kopasuka. So now I'm going to mock them every opportunity I get.
Yeah, okay. Poor Emerson. What could have been for that guy? What could have been? I see that as probably the biggest sliding doors moment so far for a driver.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, big time. There's a couple of others in later years, like I think Vettel had one. Daniel Ricciardo.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. I think, but Fittipaldi's was more dramatic because he went from a double champion, whereas Ricciardo, different type of sliding doors.
Do we also include Alonso in there? He's had quite a few sliding doors.
He's had three. Three maybe. There's an episode idea right there, Rosa. F1 sliding doors moments. That would be a fascinating one.
That would be a great episode, exactly.
Yeah, and it has to be something that has to be an anomaly, something that caused it that's not normal. It can't just be, they left this team at a bad time.
No, that's right.
Something odd.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Which probably rules out Alonso because he didn't really have odd ones and became normal for Alonso to.
But he had dummy spits.
He did have dummy spits.
Yeah,
Yes.
that
Was
was
one of those
dramatic.
with Ferrari? One of those was with Ferrari, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
one with
See,
Ferrari,
there
one
you
with
go.
McLaren, one with Alpine. That's off the top of my head without research. I'm sure there's more. Okay, so of significant interest though, and something that is very exciting to me is the introduction of the new Renault team with their RS01, and RS stands for Renault Sport. The car was powered by a turbocharged engine, and as per the rules, because it was a turbo, it was limited to a 1.5 litre engine. And I think the other cars are like 3 litre engines, so normally aspirated. So that car would generate huge power at torque, revs like 510 brake horsepower. And it had major early issues with reliability and major turbo lag. And to explain, you have to explain turbo lag to explain what Ken Tyrrell said about this Renault. Was the way turbo works is it takes the exhaust, I'm going to really blow this. When the piston goes down, it causes a little explosion in the cylinder head and then exits the little powder, the gas exits from the piston. That powder, instead of going out the exhaust pipe out the back of the car, goes through a turbo bit, which causes the engine to make the crankshaft turn faster. And so the reason why I have to explain that flow is that gas that's exit, that's when you get the power. You don't get the power when the piston goes down. So there's a lag.
Yeah, okay.
Right? That's why turbo lag. So I hope, did that make sense?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. So Ken Tyrrell nicknamed it the yellow teapot because it brewed up and came to a steaming halt so often.
Oh, wow. That's unfair. The yellow teapot.
So what do you think of the colour of it, Rosa?
I love it. I love the yellow. It's also very iconic to me. You remember the yellow Renault back from when we used to watch it. I think it looks really cool. I like the black and yellow look of it. It reminds me a little bit of that black and yellow car. Oh, what was it? It had the Hornet, the yellow Hornet car. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Reminds me a little bit of that kind of yellow. Yeah, no, I like it.
Yeah. And if I had 3 Matchbox cars or Hot Wheels cars as a little child from the 70s, it would be the Ferrari 312T, the Tyrrell 6-wheeler, and this Renault. So it's right up there in terms of cool looking cars.
Yeah. It's interesting. Do you remember Renault tried to start I think it was in the 60s, Louis. They tried to, in a French race, they tried to field a car but couldn't get it ready in time. And
oh, really? I forgot this. You've got a good memory there. Okay.
Yeah. And it's taken them, and I think we did say at the time that they would come back to Formula One, but it would take them like 10 or 12 years to do it.
And here they are.
More, 15 years, and here they are. And with a revolutionary, like this revolutionises F1 as well because of the turbo.
Yeah.
Probably
they came with a big point of difference. They said, we're not going to come in with the same as everyone else. We're going to be different. Just like March did the turbo era at the back.
The turbo era is one of the best eras of Formula One, I reckon.
I think so. The old school turbo, the 80s turbos.
Yeah. So, good on Renault. And, like, are they still there on the grid now? I think they're there in a weird form, which is Alpine, isn't it?
It's hard to define.
Yeah.
No, it's hard to do. I don't think it's hard to say because Alpine in 2025 are going to Mercedes engines in 2026. So that team's not really Renault anymore.
No,
it wasn't Renault a long time ago, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. But I think the origins are the Renault kind of, I think, and I might be getting confused, but I think Alpine were the ones trying to bring in a car and that was the beginning of the Renault. So, I think that's what.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway. But I think we keep an eye on this team. Yeah, so.
Okay. And Tyrrell, he did something special, I see.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was in a world of my own there.
Yeah, you were reminiscing about Alpines.
So there was a significant technical development that was introduced to F1 in 77 and something that we take for granted now and I think has almost destroyed Formula One. Well, not destroyed, but removed.
I think it has a little bit. Yeah, it's become more engineers now.
Yes. But Ken Tyrrell, taking a leaf out of Colin Chapman's book, hired Dr. Carl Kempf, an American mathematician, to use a computer to collect data from early car sensors, measuring elements such as speed, throttle and braking, G-forces, tyre wear, suspension deflection. And so that was really beginning of telemetry. So back then, the cars dumped the data via an antenna when they actually passed the pits. So it was location-based, the technology back then. I think that sounds like it's analog as far as my understanding of analog and digital go. But yeah, that was the beginning of gathering data on the F1 cars, and Ken
it's
Tyrrell did it.
very interesting, isn't it? And I wonder if he kept it secret or shared that he was doing it. You'd think he'd keep it secret because it's an edge.
Yeah,
Who knows?
it is an edge. But
out.
like you say, Louis, everyone copies everyone. So then everyone
Yeah.
started hiring mathematicians
Yeah.
and
then the downward
getting
spiral started. Well, let's put this. We're sounding like Enzo Ferrari here. You know, Enzo was like, "Oh, aerodynamics of people that don't know how to build good engines," right?
That's
And
right.
here we are criticizing all the data. Like,
I
we're
know.
sounding like Enzo. We've got to watch out.
I know. But it kind of does remove that the tires just blowing for no, like now they can tell when the tires are wearing, and so you got to come in and change your tires, and
Yeah.
yeah, they
And in
can
modern
pick
day
up when
F1,
there's an engine issue, and so come in, retire the car. Whereas back in the day, you'd see cars just blowing engines or having issues that you wouldn't pick
out of the
up.
blue, and the drivers would have to just resolve it themselves because the team didn't know that it was happening.
Yes.
So but nowadays, there's like over 300 sensors on a car sending info
Wow.
constantly back to the pits and back to the factories overseas. There's many, many data analysts and strategists pretty much dissecting copious amounts of data. And no doubt in 2025, it's both human and AI aided.
Yes.
So there's no really any opportunity for drivers to be economical with the truth. Or
Like,
you
it
know what I
wasn't me, it
mean?
was the car. There was an issue with
the
the car.
brake issue. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that mechanical mayhem also. I know it was unsafe, like it was unsafe, if a car lost drive or torque or whatever. But yeah, it gets getting a bit boring. But anyway,
Oh well.
I am sounding like Enzo. Sorry, I'll
Just
stop.
let Brambilla in the car. Just let Brambilla into the car. He'll just gorilla it. He doesn't need those sensors.
That's right.
He'll just take it there. We've had a lot of fun talking about 77. We haven't even done a race and we've run out of time.
I know we're doing this. It's becoming a bit of a routine thing for us to not have
It
a
is.
race in the first episode.
I know, but the thing is they're interesting to hear about because
Yes,
it really
there is.
paints the picture of, okay, this is what we're walking into. So even though there was only 2 months between 76 and 77, we took a whole episode to talk through what happened. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, I guess we're going to leave it there, Louis, and we'll start with our actual race reviews in the next episode.
Excellent. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.